I knew it was going to happen, and here it is. I thought I would get the black floor problem. It's happening in the bathroom to start. Here I am. I've been working all day and just switched now to working on videos. It's the end of the work day. It's been a very windy day, but I'd like to point out that I've been running a monitor and a pretty heavy-duty laptop off the power, as well as charging phones and such. And this is the kind of day it's been. It's been cloudy. It's been cloudy with not too much sun. So for a couple hours this morning, after, you know, a conservative night using power, I ran the generator during some rain to charge up the system for just a couple hours. Brought me up to 100%. Now I've been sitting here all day and I'm at 91%. So what does this mean? This means I'm able to work all day from my RV and I'm able to stay plugged in. Got the refrigerator going. I had climate control on for a little while, the heater on gas for a little while. Kept the water on eco mode, so I had some hot water for washing up and such. And it works. It works from the sun. It's so stupid. It's kind of ridiculous because I know this is how it's designed to be. But it's like I'm working without using any gas or any electricity. And I'm just getting the sun into batteries. And then that's turning into actual work on my laptop. And I know it's rudimentary. It's what solar's been doing for 30 years, but I think it's the first time that I've ever been really dependent on just solar power to work, and it's working. It's not foolproof. I'm certainly gonna be running my generator at times, but right now, the weaning myself off the generator is getting easier and easier. I'm guessing tonight, maybe around 7 or 8, I'll run the generator for an hour or two just to make sure I'm topped off, and then I'll be a little less frugal tonight. Since I know that I have this kind of overhead. Last night I was just using the Ember light for light and charging my phones off of a brick that I had. So I think tonight I'll just kind of do it normal and see what happens in the morning. Anyway, I'm staying out here at Quartzsite. I just started doing work again, so I'm back on my laptop, back doing my job. There's no need for me to move for a day or two. I thought I'd just get settled into work and maybe wait for something a little more photogenic so I can shoot video when I go along on my RV trip. I don't want to shoot more cloudy days and rainy days. I'm getting a little tired of that. Well, I'm here at Quartzsite and I'm about to leave after staying one night. And I'm gonna go stay another night on the other side of Quartzsite. This is the High Jolly campground. I kind of forgot that the last time I was here, I realized they had built a sewer plant not too far. So when the wind's just right, yeah, no more of that. So I'm gonna move over to the far side of Quartzsite, and then I'm gonna figure out what the next day is gonna be. I might head to Blythe just to check into a RV park for a day, kind of get all the tanks in order, get things cleaned up, and then get ready for this next leg, which will be getting to the Bay Area by the weekend. Today is Wednesday, and I expect by Sunday I'll be in the San Francisco Bay Area, assuming there's no crazy storms or flooding or earthquakes or hurricanes or whatever between here and there. So since I'm out here at Quartzsite, I am going to try to get some footage of going over some of the humps, through some of the gullies. I've got the GoPro set up underneath the trailer so we can see how the shocks perform. I'm going to set up a few other cameras too so we can just see, because I have this theory that everyone's asking about the hitch, and do you remove the weight distribution hitch? Do you need an articulating hitch? And I'll be honest, with this trailer, you know, it's a pretty long trailer still. It's a good 20 feet from head to toe. And I think that the limits of the hitch and the distribution bars do not exceed the limits of the trailer. Meaning, if you did put an articulating hitch in and you did get rid of the distribution bars, I already scraped twice at Valley of Fire. I'm wondering about how much would you be scraping and dragging the corners through the dirt if you did have an articulating hitch and the ability to take it all over the place. Maybe it's different with those rock or roll Embers, the smaller ones that are more like oversized teardrop trailers. That might be different. Those are pretty short and they might be able to take such extreme ups and downs. But the reality is I can only go so down before my butt is dragging, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to see today how much the butt gets close on some of these bumps, and do you really need an articulating hitch? I don't think you do, not for this model. And of course, I'd like to point out, as I've mentioned in other videos, I have a Ford F-150. If you don't have a weight distribution hitch on that Ford F-150, it's not ready to go over 500 pounds bumper weight. And this trailer is definitely over 500 pounds. So for that reason alone, I can't legitimately unhook the distribution bars to take it off-road unless it's a very short distance. So you've got about a 4-foot drop coming down over about 10 feet. And then it goes kind of flat, a little bit of classic gully style, a little river gully here. All right, you can see it. And we're gonna come back up. And this shouldn't be too challenging, and larger rigs could do it. So let's just see how it does. Driving through Quartzsite. So as I move from one side of Quartzsite to another, trying to go over as many bumps and ruts as I can to see how this suspension gets filmed on the GoPro, which I'm doing right now. It really helps me reflect on Quartzsite when I drive through it. And where I was staying out there by High Jolly Campground. I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's a fine line between living in an RV and being homeless. And if that line is ever the blurriest, it's here in Quartzsite. I used to say it was sort of like a Burning Man for old people. But now it almost starts to feel sort of like a slab city for middle-aged people. I mean, every year I come here, it feels more like Slab City. It feels more like, if you don't know what Slab City is, I'll put a link in here as a reminder. Joe, put a link in here for what Slab City is. I was intrigued by it. I went there once in a rental car. I didn't go to stay. I was going to go film and take pictures. And to be honest, when I got out there, I was so depressed by what I found. It felt like I was going to be exploitive if I was going to go around and take videos and pictures. Not to mention, I might get my ass kicked. It's an interesting crowd out at Slab City. A lot of good people, don't get me wrong. A lot of down and out people. But, you know, there's also some troublemakers. The same goes out here. You know, you can see some of the folks out in the campground are just bouncing from campground to campground. It's a scene. It's a lot of vans, a lot of broken down looking vans, a lot of cars. There was at least, you know, 4 or 5 car campers out there, and they weren't camping. They were living out of their cars. And again, you can call it van life or car life, but it starts to really look like homelessness pretty quick. So I've lived in an RV full time. I've lived in an RV because I lost my job and had to move across the country, and so effectively I was homeless for, you know, technically 6 months. I mean, we moved into an RV park in the Los Angeles area for a few months. My wife started working on TV shows again, and it wasn't like we were destitute. You know, we could pay our bills, we were making money, but for those few months we were driving across and trying to figure out where to settle, and then we finally settled into the Van Nuys area. It was homelessness, and you feel it. I even got cut off from my 401k because I couldn't claim a residential address, like a physical presence address. And they said, well, you can use your parents. And I was like, well, you don't know my dad, you don't know our parents. I'm not going to send my 401k information to my family. So we were kind of locked out of our 401k there for a few months, for the most part, not entirely, but for the most part, because I couldn't verify any physical address for myself. So, you know, I mean, it was sort of homeless by choice. We've wandered a few times in our lives. The first time we did a 9-month journey after I left ILM, we used my mom's property as our home address during that whole time. That's where we had all our bills sent. So that felt, you know, that was pretty legitimate. We established at that time a residence. But yeah, when you're traveling and you don't have a residential address, boy, you're homeless, at least from a legal perspective. Anyway, I'm now cruising across Quartzsite. Sometime in the future, I'll do a boondocking with Joe sort of episode on Quartzsite. I got some good footage. Lots of people have done it. I recommend it, but I don't recommend it for everyone. If I was out on a holiday with my family, young kids and stuff, I'd just stay out of this town. There's no reason to stop. But if you're an adult, you're looking to save money on your travels, you're looking to stay someplace for free, go where the gas is fairly cheap, and you know, Quartzsite's an interesting place to go. There's also a lot of good RV little shops downtown. It seems like the entire town is here for two purposes. One is for the gem and rock sort of industry and culture, while people like to collect and trade and buy rocks. And then the other thing is RVs, especially folks who are trying to save a buck. A lot of retirees out here living cheap. It's an interesting place. I kind of recommend it for any hardcore RVer. You got to come here and check it out. Just like Slab City. Go check it out once and then get out. Go get yourself a nice RV resort with a pool and cable. All right, well, let's see where this goes. I'm going to try to go on the west side of town now, but it's right off the freeway. I thought if I stayed a little closer to the freeway, I might have less people. There's a lot of people around me, and I don't want that. When I come out to Quartzsite, I kind of want to get away from folks. I stay away from the January to March period normally, but here I am in March, and I've never been here in March. There's a lot more people than I imagined. It's the first day. It's the first day that I've had to use the air conditioner in the truck. Legit use it. I've had it on a couple of times after getting in, sitting in the sun, but yeah, I'm just running the AC today. It's 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That's nice. All right, well, I'm filming the suspension. I'm gonna go take it off-road here in a minute, and we're gonna go see how it looks when I'm done. Here we are at the western section of Quartzsite. This BLM land section is a 14-day standard. The same 14-day little slip that I filled out with the camp host at High Jolly applies to all of these equally. So I just left it in my window. Nobody really checks. I think they only check your registration if you're being seen a lot or you're not leaving an area. I can't imagine they're going out here to all these odd rigs and meth factories or whatever else is going out there in the distance. Some of these RVs. Yeah, I can't imagine them going to every RV and just checking, huh? Anyway, that's, I believe, like Quartzsite Mountain or Q Mountain. I think there used to be a Q on it, but I don't see it right now. Let's zoom in here. That's a common mountain. I think people take their side-by-sides out there a lot. I wouldn't mind taking the truck out there. I just don't really have the time right now to disconnect. And it's just Quartzsite, to be honest. After Valley of the Gods and Monument Valley, Quartzsite's just a big pile of rocks. You know, I haven't filled up my generator with gas for days. One of the nice things about weaning off the generator is I'm just spending less money on gas. Let's face it, I'm using the sun there to power my trailer in ways I didn't really imagine. Again, I just wanted something that would carry me between stops and maybe carry me between some generator use here and there. That was my expectation. It's already achieved well above that. Other folks, I think, went into this hoping that their Ember would be a, you know, self-sufficient desert rig for long-term use or something. But no, of course, you need some supplementary power. Half the day is night, and there's no power being generated then. And that's when I use a lot of it, you know, the microwave, things like that. Yeah, another work day. Work days are kind of boring here in my videos. So I don't even know about recording on these days, but I'm still at Quartzsite. I'm just going to go move to Blythe for about 24 hours so I can get to an RV park. One I've stayed at before, the used to be called the Riviera, and now it's called something else. And it's right on the Colorado River. It's you know, I just remember being clean, being nice. They charge a little more, and again, you know, when you pay a little more, you don't have to deal with the riffraff. So unlike Let's Go Brandon Park there that I did in Oregon. No offense to folks who are roughing it out there and making do with what they got, but sometimes it's nicer to go to a nicer park. We'll see if this is still nicer under new ownership, and I'm going to just do 24 hours there to kind of clean out the rig, get the tanks all flushed, get set up, and then I'm going to head towards the Bay Area. It's around a 600-mile drive, and I'm going to try to knock it out in 1+ days, meaning I'll probably leave after work on Friday and head out, and then finish up on Saturday, driving most of the day on Saturday. I'd like to get up there and then settle in for some rain, because it's always been raining everywhere lately. But it looks like I might have a clear, I'm probably jinxing myself here, but right now it looks like I might have a clear, sunny run up to the Bay Area. That would be nice. So I'm here at the Cove RV Park in Blythe, California. It's right on the Colorado River. This is a gas line that is on a suspension bridge across the Colorado River, and it leads right into the ground right next to my RV. You'd think I'd care, but I asked for the space because it's right next to the Wi-Fi, so I'm able to stream my Netflix and all that right into my Furrion 12-volt television. No problem whatsoever. The birds are everywhere. The sun is out. I'm hooked up with all my facilities with water and power. This is undoubtedly one of the prettier parts of Blythe, California. When you first come in, you might be turned off because they have the storage area in this big asphalt parking area in the center. And they've installed a whole bunch of solar panels, so that's an upgrade. That certainly wasn't here the last time I was here. That's a few more solar panels than I got on my rig. I wonder what portion of this park is running off those solar panels during the day, especially out here in the desert, California. Lots of sun. But that's not where the RVs are actually parked. They're parked over there in a grassy area closer to the freeway, and then over here on this side, which is where I'm parked, underneath the gas compressed line. Well, I must have the record as being the very first Ember to park underneath a compressed gas transport pipeline. So of course the first question is, would you feel comfortable staying underneath a compressed natural gas pipeline? But even more pressing, would you feel comfortable barbecuing next to a compressed gas pipeline? Doesn't say you can't. This park used to be called the Riviera RV Park. Stayed here a few years ago for a couple of days. Blythe, California. This is about the prettiest part I know of. The rest of it, I hope I don't offend anyone who might be from or in Blythe, but pretty much if you take the word blight and meth and combine it, you get Blythe. It is parked right along the freeway, along I-10. You'll see that long line of traffic. It's almost always there because of the agricultural checkpoint. So that tells you where this is if you're familiar with the area. It's basically adjacent to the agricultural checkpoint at the border. I don't know if you know this, but California does have border checkpoints. And those checkpoints are there exclusively to deal with agriculture. However, they almost always just flag you through without checking. I think it's more focused on the commercial traffic. This big boat ramp here, and I don't see any no dog signs on the boat ramp. Go! Good girl. Good girl. Look at how little Lizzy is when she gets wet. She's like a little terrier under there. She has the body of a cat inside dog hair. And this is how Lizzy dries herself off. Get in there, Lizzy, get in there. Come on, get in there. She's a self-drying dog. Here, you guys want to see vicious Lizzy? Ah. But she never really bites. She's such a soft bite. She's loud. But she never really bites. She just soft bites. You biting my hand? Listen to all them birds. Lizzy doesn't care about the birds, she just wants her ball. You can see here that the microwave is now loose inside the chamber. Ever since Valley of Fire Road, and just the first couple of miles of it, no less. And as I expected, I thought I would get the black floor problem, given the vehicle identification number that I have and where I sit in the supply chain of this model. I knew it was going to happen, and here it is. It's happening in the bathroom to start. I'll scrub it again a couple more times just to confirm, but it doesn't seem to get better. It just seems to get worse. And I'm pretty much assuming that that is not black mold, because if the trailer was any drier, having been in the desert now for weeks, I think it would just catch fire. So this is not a mold problem. This is a black floor problem. All right, let's get moving. Well, here's an odd one. I usually do not leave an RV park at 5 in the afternoon, but I'm just leaving the Cove RV Park, formerly the Riviera RV Park in Blythe, California, right on the Colorado River. There are some spots that are basically freeway spots, and there are other spots that are gorgeous, you know, riverside spots. The water and the overhead wires of that pipeline attract all kinds of birds, so it's like a constant chirp. Whoa! And it's bumpy when you circle around underneath the freeway. Yeah, I'm literally at the edge of Colorado River here, turning back towards California now. I've already been through the agricultural checkpoint. Anyway, the park is really nice. They were really nice. I talked to them. I worked out a deal where I was able to extend until 6 p.m. That allowed me to do a full work day uninterrupted. And now I can hit the road feeling guilt-free for the weekend. It's a Friday for those who might be keeping track of such things. I wasn't keeping track until my vacation was over. Every day was Saturday. But now, no, today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday. And I'm looking to go to the Carrizo Plain. I went there in 2017. You know, I like to go out in the desert for my birthday. And this time I'd gone down there alone after a work trip. down in LA, and I basically went out and drove the Carrizo Plain. It's this beautiful valley that's between the Central Valley and the coast of California. It's not very well known. It's mainly a dirt road. You go there during the super bloom, which I believe there's super bloom going on right now. It is the most yellow and orange and purple flower land you've ever seen. It looks like a scene from a movie. It looks like, you know, Avatar or Wizard of Oz or something. It's so rich and colorful. It's also a, you know, long dirt trail. So I thought it'd be another good run for the old Ember. Let's take her on another dirt road. And plus, I really like highlighting this particular location because it's so not well known, and it's so beautiful and under-visited. I think it's a good one to go. Oh, I'm just looking right now as I pull on the freeway. I see strong winds ahead. So yeah, if it's gonna be windy here, then I'm likely gonna feel it in the form of headwinds. Headwinds are fine. They just slow you down and it costs you money. Tailwinds are fun because you let off the gas and it's like you just keep going. But when you're driving to California, it's usually either east-west or you're going north at an angle or south at an angle, sort of north-northwest or south-southeast when you're traveling north-south because of the nature of the state being at an angle. But east to west, let's see what happens here. I'm leaving Blythe now. I've got a whole bunch of coffee, homemade coffee, kind of a ridiculous amount here to my right. I'm heading out at 5:20 p.m. in the afternoon to see how close I get to the Carrizo Plain. It's around 382 miles away. I'm going out of my way to do this. If I was going to go straight to the Bay Area, I wouldn't be taking this route, and I'd probably be adding, I don't know, 100 miles to this trip by doing this, but I do it for you. I'm doing it for me, but you can follow along. Well, looks like I had my second accident with the Ember because last night, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I stopped off in Castaic, mainly to see if there was a place I could stay there. And a truck pulled up and honked and said, "Hey, you broke my mirror on the freeway." And he says that my trailer swayed and hit his mirror on his big rig and shattered the whole thing and broke it off.